next one is what we call go window shopping. You know, if you decide, I need, well, I decided this morning I needed gluten-free biscuits. So you decide, I need gluten-free biscuits, so you go, you only look on that little bit of the shelf, yeah? And that's all you can see. And you can't see anything else. Whereas if you go out and you just have a wander around and you think, oh, look, those pastries are on offer. Actually, they'll be nice at the beginning of the day. People will like those. If you go window shopping, you begin to see things that you haven't thought of before. And one of the things that I think is most negative about the internet is if you go to Monster Jobs or any of those websites, you have to put yourself in a box. So you have to say, I'm an HR expert, I'm an administrator, I'm a whatever I am. And then you can't see anything else. Whereas your skill set might really fit another kind of job, but you can't see it because it's about boxes. So window shopping is really, really important. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give you a whole bundle of handouts after this. We're going to email you a whole loads and loads of stuff. But I think one of the most creative things about window shopping that I've seen is if you get The Guardian, for example, for 2 weeks. Now they don't advertise jobs every single day, but they do quite a lot of days in a week. Go through and just highlight anything in any job that attracts you, including the ones that you are so totally unable to apply for. You know, head of defence strategy for Libya. Yeah, maybe you don't want it, maybe you're not qualified for it, but what is it about that that appeals to you? Yeah? Because if you can begin to see what is it about things that appeal to me, then you're going to begin to see where are my passions and what other opportunities might there be. So if you've been absolutely stuck to the education pages of the newspapers, because that's your thing, start looking at the others. Start saying, what is it about these different roles that really inspires and attracts me? Talk to people. A great thing to do, and this has worked very well for lots of people that we've worked with, is to talk to 5 people you know. This will all be in the handouts. Talk to 5 people you know and say, if you could think of 20 jobs I could do, what would they be? Now, that's not asking them for advice. That's not saying, I'm really desperate for a job. What on earth can I do? That's a different kind of question. This is a question that says, if there are 5 things, if there are 20 jobs you think I could do, what would they be? Now, what's interesting is that the first 5 you've already thought of. The last 4 will be crazy. I heard you talk about astronauts, I mean. What's interesting is those middle ones. What is it that they see in you that you don't see in yourself that you might be able to do? That will give you some really interesting insights, because you can then say to them, I'm curious, what is it about me that makes you think that I'd be really good as an advertising executive or whatever it is? Or a cake shop owner. Yeah? Window shopping is really important because it opens up the choices. It gives you that bowl of fruit that you had on your picture, makes it bigger, so that you can begin to say, actually, what else is out there? How many jobs can you name? If I asked you to come up with a list of jobs, how many could you get to? Hundreds. Hundreds. Anyone else? How many? Hundreds. How many hundred? A couple of hundred. There's a book called the US, I think it's called the US Dictionary of Job Titles, which has got 12,000. So if you can think of 200, you're not thinking of the other 11,800 that you could do. Now I know you're not qualified to do all of them. Yeah? Maybe scuba diving teacher isn't quite for you if you can't swim. But actually, do you see what I mean? We're looking in a very small pond, and there are far, far more opportunities out there than we can even begin to imagine. So window shopping is about breaking that open and actually saying, what is out there? What are people doing? How are they earning money? And that begins to give you some more choices. So that's number 2, go window shopping. And we might come back to that later and talk in more detail about different ways that you can do that. I think the next one is know your purpose. Know what this bit is in the middle. This bit that is purposeful for you. Now, you may or may not earn money from that, but it's really good to have that somewhere in your life. I worked with someone the other day, and she'd done a combination of paid work and unpaid work, and what was interesting was that that bit in the middle, which was things she was good at and that she loved, she'd never got paid for. So her passion was all here in the unpaid bit. And she said, that's not okay anymore, because what I've done for my whole career is to get paid for what I'm good at. This bit. I'm good at it, and the organisation will pay for it, but I don't love it. And she said that's not okay. Now actually sometimes it is okay, but we need to get that bit from somewhere else. So a long time ago I worked with somebody, and he's given me permission to tell this story. His job was as a plastics extruder. Do you know what that is? A plastics extruder pulls down a sheet over a mould and makes bathroom fittings, you know, where you put your shower gel and all those things. And that's what he did. And he was good at it, and that brought him the money, and he hated it. And what he really wanted to do was local radio. That was his passion, was local radio. And I think he's good at it, but not good enough to get paid for it. So what he realised after coming on one of these workshops was that actually what he could do was get paid to be the plastics extruder and then do the local radio in the rest of his time. And that would give him a full picture, but it just came from different pots. And in fact he lost his job in plastics and he now makes Venetian blinds. But it's the same thing. He's not passionate about it, but it's fine. And he says his attitude to going to work every day is different, because he knows that he does that so that he can do radio in the evenings and the weekends. So that's another option. But we need to know what our purpose is, and later on we can look at how you find that if you don't know what it is. I think the next one is know where you're heading. And for some of you, that might be to know you're heading anywhere. Know you're heading somewhere at all, not necessarily know particularly where you're heading. But it's know where you're going and have a strategy and say, actually, what are the things that I need to do to make this possible? And it might be that you say, okay, well, I'm going to do some investigating. I'm just going to do some fact-finding for the next 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, just to try and see what the lie of the land is. And then later on, I will begin to look at what I do about that. For others of you, it will be I will have applied for 5 jobs by the end of the week.